We are totally focusing on skin regeneration, helping this tissue be healthier, and helping it to grow what it doesn't want to grow anymore. So this is all good.
But this is the new stuff. You don't see it as much, but the exosomes are really, really cool. And we'll talk about why this is a really cool product. But honestly, I've been doing a lot more into the wellness. I'm getting to that age where I'm like, I'm getting old. And I need to make sure I'm trying to preserve myself here in some sort of way. So I've already started delving into the wellness and the rejuvenatory aspect of it. And this is really what really is starting to take it to the next level. We started PRP, and actually I started doing PRP, was it 10, 15 years ago, before most of you guys had started.
Like 2008.
I was actually using the ortho stuff back then. And you guys have to realize your PRPs that you're using, you need to concentrate it 6 to 8 times to get PRP to really be what it's supposed to be. That's why ortho, they have it and they're spinning it down. We talk about PRP. Yeah, it's pro-inflammatory. It's going to inflame. There's only, right now, we know the 8 different growth factors plus a couple of other interleukins and cytokines. These things right here are going to be the next level things. These are interleukins, the cytokines, the messaging that's going to recruit more stem cells into the area, plus all the different growth factors that are in here as well. So
and it causes a whole paracrine effect.
This is going to take it to that next level. Okay, so that's where this is the reason why I'm huge proponent of exosomes. I would use this over anything topical.
Can I say one thing about Benev exosomes? I want you guys to see this word. It says exosome on here. You're probably not going to see exosome on any other product because they haven't gotten the approval for it. You're going to see
we'll talk about
factors. So
definitely.
Just keep that in mind.
All right, we're going to jump to PowerPoint quickly. All right, so exosomes, this is a regenerative complex. There's a 2.5 billion and a 5 billion. Just do 5 billion.
Yeah, that's all I buy. Just get the black box.
Sorry, Benev, just push it to the 5 billion. I hope they come with a 10 billion because I hear there is one. So the more the better. I mean, really what it is. So let's jump into this. So what is an exosome? I think everyone always, what's an exosome? So think of it as the actual cytokines and growth factors, the messaging within the stem cell. So we used to think that these little packets of vesicles with all of these exosomes, these growth factors and cytokines that are all packaged into them, we used to think they were actually waste cells. And now over the last 20 years that we've actually started to do more research with regards to it, we're actually finding that they're super important. They're the ones that are creating the paracrine effects in the body that's starting to do things. I say my analogy is it's like the CEO of a company is the stem cell. He can physically do things and do reproduction and stuff like that, but it's all of his messages, his text messages, his emails, all of that stuff goes out there, and he's making an effect on everything in the company. Okay,
you know how I explain it to my patients? They ask me, what are exosomes? And I say, you know what? It's kind of like a car is the stem cell, and the engine is the exosome. And then they get it. They're like, oh, it's that good part. It's the part that makes everything work.
Yes.
It
is. Yeah. So that is kind of what exosomes are. And then they go in, and there's, exosomes from different areas. The ones that we are using with this product is a fat-derived one, which we know there's tons of stem cells in fat. And so that's why there's plenty of sources for this one. Okay. So initially considered garbage collectors, research then found function and benefit. And exosome is not a cell.
People think
so. Realize it is not a cell. So you don't have to worry about HLAs, worry about, cross activity, autoimmunity, all of that stuff. It's not. It's only isolated from a cell culture media. Okay. So that's where they're getting it from. All right, so stem cells derived exosomes. And so exosomes, as we said, important factor in cell-to-cell communication. There's about 200 types of cells in our body, and they're here to communicate and provide that communications. Exosomes are going to be in that 330 to 200 nanometer range when you're looking at the size of them, and they're going to contain proteins, mRNAs, cytokines, interleukins. There's tons of stuff that's going to come down the road with actually probably drug development.
Right.
We'll see where that is. FDA and all of their bull crap with regards to trying to restrict it.
How do you really feel?
Hey, I think they're restricting us from really finding out the things that really are naturally going to help us repair ourselves. That they let the pharmaceutical companies run the industry. Unfortunately, that's my biggest opinion. It's all about the money. They want to keep you down, to keep you sick, to keep you coming back for more drugs. It really is, instead of allowing your body to heal. And this is what this is about allowing your body to heal itself. Okay, so we're gonna jump into it. The exosome that we're using, conditioned media, it's tons of growth factors, 50 plus growth factors in there. There's about 1,050 proteins, 180 of which are functional for the skin,
which is why we're
using it.
Yeah.
Major expected functions: cell proliferation, wound healing, and apoptosis, killing off the bad cells, and recruiting the cells to actually repair and heal. And of course, over 600 mRNAs, 100 which are functional for the skin. And honestly, major expected function: anti-itching,
anti-inflammation.
There's so much anti-stuff.
Yeah.
It really is about decreasing the inflammatory response in the body.
And it's the opposite of PRP. I don't want to say that, but I mean, PRP is good, but it's pro-inflammatory. So this is a little anti-inflammatory.
Exactly.
How is it made? This is
interesting. A lot of the companies out there are using ultracentrifugation to spin down the product, so they really don't separate it out as much. Benev and the exosome product they uses a tangential flow filtration system, so it goes through a whole slew of really, really fine tuning, so that you're really removing all of those single macromolecules. So you really are getting the effective exosomes. You're really collecting it, so you're going to collect a more higher purity in the exosomes,
and it's much more consistent.
Yes.
So when they do the tangential flow, it's a lot more consistent with what you're getting in the product.
Yes. So there's consistency each time you're getting this product. So from box to box to box, you're guaranteed to be much more consistent with regards to that.
Right.
So conditioned media versus exosome. So you can see conditioned media that has all these other cellular debris and stuff like that versus purified. Versus the enriched. So enriched is where people try to get away with it. There's some exosomes, but there's some other stuff in it.
We've seen that lately with people that say, oh, their exosomes are too expensive. So they start adding, we'll add hyaluronic acid. We'll add other stuff to this.
Exactly.
To water
skincare things that say they have exosomes or stem cells in it, they're probably more enriched.
Right.
This product itself is purified. They use a tangential flow to purify it. So you literally are only getting exosomes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that means a lot.
It does.
That means a lot.
So we talk about lyophilization because ultimately we have to stabilize it. We have to have this handling and storage and shipping, and then the cost of it. So ultimately what we're looking at is there is some loss of efficacy, but on a smaller scale by lyophilizing these exosomes versus the frozen one. But the trade-off is that you are able to transport this. We keep this in the refrigerator. Ultimately, if we didn't lyophilize them, I do
You have a nitrogen tank.
I do use regular exosomes for actually IV usages. We need to keep that at minus 80 degrees. And I have a refrigerator for that. How many of you guys want to buy a minus 80 degree freezer just to keep your exosome products? So there's a trade-off. People talk, lyophilizes, decrease efficacy. It's a minimal amount, but the trade-off is you're going to get a higher stability. So viability is going to be better. You're going to not have to have that storage capability, so transporting it, all that stuff. And so because you lyophilize it, also your costs come down with regards to it because you're more stabilized on that aspect of it. Okay.
So much good information about exosomes.
Really. So ultimately, you can see the exosomes, the uptake from the human dermal fibroblast. This is a really cool picture.
And the exosome's the green. Yep. And the cell, the nucleus, is the blue.
Yep.
So how interesting is that? It's like, I love pictures like this because I love proof.
Right.
I love proof that proof is in the pudding. It's in the histology slides.
preservation of the exosome membrane by lipid. So these are published studies that show the integrity of the bilipid, that with the lyophilization, that your exosome product is going to do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't break down when you lyophilize. It's the stability factor with regards to that. Okay. This is from Korea, their new headquarters. They invested $22 million on this new high-end GMP facility. So you know you're getting quality products that are really, really high-end. And so, you know, they keep investing into this, and hopefully we're going to get even better, and more research is going to come out of this. So hopefully we're going to, we're going to take this to the next level. Yeah. Look forward to the future, guys.
Yeah, BNEV is very dedicated towards new innovation and looking at ways and looking at proof, doing research, looking at histology. And I love that we have definite information on what these things will do. Is
so
phenomenal.
3GMP, ISO certifications. To do with the quality that you're producing your product in, high-end quality, because they're at ISO and GMP levels. This is what's needed to produce a good, stable, clean product for you guys to be using.
A lot of publications.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah.
You know, I'll leave this up there for another minute so that you guys can scan it. They really do a lot of research on these products, and it's published product. You know, published out there. It's not just we're saying it. It actually has documented research paper.
Yeah, these aren't white papers, you guys. These are peer reviewed,
yes,
which is really important.
All right, guys. So it's there. We're gonna move on. So there are no currently FDA approved exosome products. Realize that. Even the ones that I use for IV, not really approved. We're using them in a research aspect of it, okay? The regulatory manners with regards to this, with exosomes, as far as the whole regenerative route, is still being scrutinized by the FDA significantly. So you guys out there that are using exosomes and stem cells, you guys just be a little careful with not putting it out there that you are really doing it. Don't advertise. You don't want to get in trouble with FDA. We want these stuff to hopefully create more research so that we can show the FDA that there is improvements and there are benefits to using this.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about is like injecting and implanting.
Yes.
So putting on the skin, it's okay. It's fine.
Because we're using this as a topical, and we'll go about this right here. This is what it's about. So BNEV's Exosome Regenerative Complex is a post-care topical use cosmetic exosome solution. Okay, the isolated and purified form of this exosome is called the Exosome Regenerative Complex, and actually is now accepted by the Personal Care Products Council and the International Cosmetic Ingredients Nomenclature Committee. And it's given the name Human Adipose Stromal Cell Exosomes. It's given and published in an International Cosmetic Ingredient Directory Handbook, which is known as INCI. You guys have to realize this means that they did their research. They put in the effort to show how they get the products, how it's a clean product, where the source is. They did everything right so that they are an actual ingredient according to the international cosmetic standard. And that's why
I don't believe anybody else has that as ingredient.
Nobody else has that. If you really watch it, all those other companies that say they have exosome products in there, they'll say it's platelet derived or other things. They won't actually say exosomes.
Yeah.
This is one of the only ones in the US marketplace that we can actually say it's an exosome topical product used, and it can't be reversed because it's actually accepted by the International Cosmetic Directory out there. So the fact that they can actually write exosomes on their box means that the FDA can't touch them as far as a topical cosmetic usage. Okay, that is really important for you guys to understand, because no other product can say that. You can't claim that. You will not have them actually say that they actually have an exosome. They'll tell you outside
they'll use other
that
words.
It's exosome. They'll use other words, but this is the only product that actually went through the proper channels to get an exosome. Okay, important.
Yeah, really important.
So exosomes stimulates paracrine effect, as we talk, reduces inflammation, faster healing. Because you reduce inflammation, you really are allowed to actually heal faster. You control that fire so it doesn't overtake the whole house. So you have to repair the whole house. You repair just the kitchen little fire.
And this is any injury to the skin.
Yes.
This is like, you can see the
burns.
picture. Yeah, you can see the picture behind here that I had a patient come in where somebody over microneedled them and did an abrasion like this. And this Exosomes heal very beautifully, so keeps them at home.
I know, seriously, your kids hurt themselves, rub it on. Seriously, you will get preventing your scars from forming. You'll burns everything. You burn yourself with curling iron. Exosomes. Really, I mean, that's my protocol now when we get laser burns and things like that. First thing is Exosomes onto it. So simple to use, no blood draw, keep in the refrigerator, easy to, I mean, this is so easy to use, and it's really reasonably priced. You guys are going to get a really good special today, but I mean, I think the cost is under $200 and stuff. I mean, how amazing is that? Okay. So moving on, because they're trying to speed us up.
I know we're like late.
Post microneedling, post plasma. You can see how amazing these are, healing up the patient's faces. Traumatic injury. You can see 24-hour post application. Amazing. You are really starting the process of healing.
Plasma pen.
You know, if you run into those issues like, I don't know what I did with my laser or whatever, slap some Exosomes on and.
And keep in mind, this isn't in the studies, but this is anecdotal. But when you have an injury to tissue, it's going to cause hyperstimulation of healing.
Yes.
Sometimes that's where we get the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So if we can de-inflammate that, if we can reduce the inflammation, we might be able to reduce some of the PIH that's caused from some of these
injuries. Your body doesn't know when to stop itself. It sees damage and it throws everything at it to heal. You need to control it. That's why when I do my CO2 lasers, I actually put people on a steroid. I know it's counterintuitive because we're telling steroids are going to blah, blah, they're going to decrease and thin your skin out and stop the collagen production and blah, blah, blah. No, if you actually really do your studies when it comes to like burns, they actually put steroid creams with the combination of stuff to decrease it in the beginning stages because you're going to overly inflame.
Right.
This is going to stop that inflammation in its tracks. And now from there, you can start healing. And that to me is what we're all about. We want to stimulate instead of creating all of this mess that the body has now cleaned up. Focus on the healing right away.
Yeah. Don't delay.
So plasma pen, one side exosome, 24 hours.
Yep.
Post erbium, look at that. Great.
All right, we're going to go play, guys.
Play. Lori's just going to do a quick microneedling just to show what it's all about. So give us 2 minutes.
Okay. We are back, and I'm not going to be your arm candy anymore. I get to do something now. No. So in this part, this is just microneedling. So I have a skin pen in my office, and it comes with a Glide serum. And what we're going to do to help regenerate some hair growth in this individual is we are going to throw some Glide serum. He's had numbing on for a little while. We're going to throw Glide serum in this area so I can get some of the hair separated. It's easier when you have areas that don't have hair. And then we are going to start using, I'm going to use a 0.5 millimeter microneedling depth. Mm-hmm. And we are simply going to microneedle. Now, I see a lot of people microneedling like this. No, you need to keep in mind that this is coming in and out at a certain amount of time, a certain amount of RPMs per minute. Take your time and go slow. Because the needles are going to be going in and out, and you want to get a lot of needles, a lot of holes in that tissue. So take your time. You don't have to go real fast, and you're going to get a much better treatment. In the face, in the scalp, I will do crosswise. I will do linear pattern, back and forth. And then I will do a crosshatch this way in the scalp. And the Glide serum is on, so it ends up being really, really nice, just letting it flow. This is not the Exosomes. I just want to make that clear. This is the Glide serum that comes with the product.
By definition, you guys can focus on me over here, guys. Not on, she's just microneedling. We're going to focus on this. So let's talk about the Exosome product. So remember, this is for topical usage. However you want to do it is up to you. But for purposes of what we're doing, we're going to put it on afterwards. But it comes as a nice box, you can see. We're ripping it open, and we have two things, 2 bottles, 2 vials. One has the exosome. This is a dry-free exosomes. And then one is more of the growth factors and serums that Benev is really known for. So we're going to mix the two. Do you have to mix the two? No. But you could just use the exosomes. Sometimes I just add saline and just use that if I don't want it as thick and I want it a little thinner. But that's kind of where we have both of them, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to open up the dilutant, and we're going to draw it up. Typically, it's almost about 5 cc's that we have in here. So we're going to draw it all up.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing a cross-hatching pattern, and then I do little circles. That's how I microneedle. Just FYI. Right. So the little circles can be faster than my cross-hatching.
Off. And we're going to just pop it in the exosomes, and then you can shake it up. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. You want to get it nicely mixed up so all the powder is all mixed up into this area. Okay. I'm going to mix it, keep mixing it until all of the white powder is dissolved into the area. And then what we're going to do is I pop this top off, and then I'll take this stopper out. Sometimes I'll actually take my 18 gauge and kind of stir it a little bit just to make sure it goes into solution. And then we'll draw it back up. Make sure you get it all. Don't waste it. Any extra exosomes you can get is going to improve. All right. So we're going to draw up whatever's remaining. Perfect. So I'm going to prepare this for Lori. As you guys saw earlier, Curacator. I'm going to pull it off.
All these little tools that make our life easier that we wish we invented when we see them.
Attach it on. And now we can push product out and swirl it around.
Now, keep in mind, when you're doing microneedling, you don't have to do it super deep and make them all bloody.
No.
Because it is just going to block those channels. We just want to get down into that basement membrane. We want to get into that, the dermal tissue. And it doesn't have to be super deep. So I'm just going to let me do my little stripes here, just in the back where he has.
All right. Well, let me answer some questions. Jacqueline, hello. I know it might be a coincidence, but I applied the 2.5 billion exosome plus needling on a patient last week. She came down with shingles on her forehead and eye area. She's healing well on her way to recovery. It's upsetting because I realized anything could have triggered this. No known. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, anything you do, lasers, anything can trigger a shingles outbreak. Unfortunately, it happened around the same time, but definitely should not have been related to the exosome. That should decrease inflammation on the aspect of it.
Yeah.
John, for one box, you get the 2 vials. Typically, you buy them in packs of 5. So they come in packs of 5 typically, is what you do. Let's see. Mina, does it need to be refrigerated prior to reconstitution? Yes.
Hi, Mina.
Hi,
girl.
Oh, hi, Mina.
It's Mina.
Yes, you want to keep the whole thing in the refrigerator until you take it out to use it. Shelf life, I think it's about a year. I'll have to confirm with the company, but I think you can keep it. As long as it's refrigerator, it stays for a long time.
It's never an issue. We use them so fast.
They lyophilize it, so that really, really does stabilize the exosomes. As long as they're in the refrigerator, you can keep them. You should be able to keep them for at least a year. John, microneedling depth for the hair scalp. It's just she's just doing 0.5 millimeter.
I'm just doing 0.5 millimeter.
Remember,
you could do like
the goal
0.75.
is when you're doing microneedling is not to get bloody. If you have blood coming out, you can't get anything in. So you need to create these little holes so the exosomes or whatever serum you're using stays inside. Okay, and so this is the reason why when you're doing your microneedlings or anything of the sort, you don't want to be super bloody. Super bloody is nice for microneedling if you're really dealing with like acne scars and stuff like that. But honestly, by the time you add topical stuff in there, I mean, ultimately, you're pushing all of that products coming back out because the blood's coming all out. Oh, actually, I was just corrected. It's 2 years that it can be refrigerated. So shelf life on this is 2 years. Just keep it, everything. It comes on ice. So you just stick in the refrigerator. And as long as it's in the refrigerator, you're good to go.
We never look at it because we use it so quick.
Curacator.
We get them from Airtight. AIRTITE is the company I get those from.
Exactly.
Along with all of my needles.
Let's see. Do you need to put hydrating cream or sunscreen after exam? No. Mm-mm. This actually provides this nice barrier. Actually, every time I get it done, I'm like, oh, this feels so good. And then the next morning when I jump in the shower and I wash it off, I'm like, oh, it's like a nice, like not jelly, but a nice little layer that just comes off. And so then you can reapply. Remember, the holes will close up in about 6 hours or so. So you want to, if you want to, and you have some left over, you can go ahead and actually give them a little bit, and they can put some more on later on. Yes, we did numb the patient up before microneedling. Yes.
So if you see this,
hey, Will, how are you? Some of my buddies using FUE state microneedling of scalp will transect hair follicles, so stay pretty superficial. Yes. For sure, you want to stay very superficial. I mean, you just want to create little tiny holes into it. You don't want to traumatize the follicle. No. I mean, you don't need to get that deep. You just want to get it to penetrate, create little holes so that the product can actually penetrate down and actually feed the follicles in the area. Any other questions? I think we're good. I think I answered them all. Is the offer valid in Canada? Oh. Yes, it is. Good for you. Take advantage of it.
So I use this Curacator to spread it. It's super easy to spread it, so you're not dripping it all over the patient. But I love to kind of rub it into the skin, just into the topical skin. Is where I'm rubbing like it to rub into.
Yes,
just
rubbing
the topical skin. Again, did I say topical on top?
The glide that she was using is the one that comes with the skin pen.
It comes with skin pen.
They provide a glide in their little box and stuff like that. So, let's see. Does this concept apply to PRF as well? No. PRF is very, 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 very completely different. PRF is essentially PRP, but not a well spun down PRP. That's a whole different topic. We have a webinar at AI about that. I'm a big believer. You need to capture platelets. If you're not capturing enough platelets, what's the purpose of your PRP or PRF? It literally is you're just taking blood and smearing it on person's face. You're not doing anything. So really, really understand what you're trying to do with PRP, PRF, all of that stuff. Okay.
You guys see, he was a little pink when I was doing his microneedling, and now do you see how quickly the pink is going away?
That's what I love about this.
It's going away really quickly.
I mean, I honestly get this done like right after a laser. So I'll do a laser, like a nice Q switch laser, and then I'll do a microneedling, and then topically add this on top with that. Beautiful, beautiful results. Q&A will. So we'll do a Q&A before all the products today, so you can ask questions. We'll have another, I think, 15, 20 minutes to answer questions. So if you have any other questions, put them into the Q&A and area or the chat area, and we'll try and get through as much as we
can sit and chat and kind of answer questions for you.
Can you please explain the rationale for pulling skin in vectors while performing microneedling RF? I mean, I don't exactly know overall shrinkage versus actually shrinking it in a certain vector that you want. And so I think it definitely will improve a little bit more of that vectoring aspect of it when you're doing it. How soon do you do RF after thread placement? I typically will probably do it maybe about a month apart. So if you do RF microneedling, I'll wait maybe about 3 to 4 weeks and then do it. If I do threads, I'll wait about 4 weeks before I do a microneedling RF. So that's what I should do. How long they should not exercise for Shannon with regards to threads? I would probably say 2 weeks, because you want the threads to stick in place and hold. Remember that collagen takes about 2 to 3 weeks to stimulate. For the rest of the stuff, I mean, a day.
Yeah,
I mean,
just let the needle hole seal up. You don't want a bunch of sweat in the needle hole, so just kind of let the needle hole seal up, which could take overnight. Usually 16, 20
hours. Let's see. Can you perform Botox right after microneedling RF? Yeah, sure. There's nothing wrong with that. The heat's dissipated. I mean, there's remnant kind of deeper heat that may still be there, but on a very mild level. So you're going into the muscle. So I don't think you're denaturing anything. You may have different.
I whenever I have like erythema or a little edema in the area, I always, when I would do my neuromodulators, I want them to stay right where I put them. So I would probably do it either a few days, the day before, or at least 2 or 3 hours before, so I'm just locked into that nerve ending, and then do the radio frequency, or just let them do it like the next day.
I do radio frequency and then I do my toxins. So I'll do them right afterwards. So
there's your answer.
I will. I have no issues with that with regards to that. Yes, there will be a replay. Reach out to Benev for the replay. Let's see.
Do you do silphium on the scalp? Interesting.
I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, we just did silphium up through this portion of the scalp.
I mean, if you need, I don't know. I've never seen a saggy scalp
up through this area.
It may turn off the radio frequency.
Make a difference, but you can use it as a regular microneedling. Yeah. You could turn off the actual energy power, and then you won't be giving any energy, and it's literally done easy. I mean, it's a microneedling essentially. So yeah, you can definitely do silphium X on the scalp with exosomes. That's not a problem at all. What else can we say? Hi, Angelica. How are you?
She uses Botox and RF first. See, I'm just like so cautious and careful.
I mean, there's certain things you need to watch out for, but I mean, I don't think it does. RF promotes hair follicle growth. Boom. That's interesting. I'll have to change that.
Maybe just use a pulse wave and see how deep you go.
I know.
Yeah, interesting.
That'll be interesting.
It makes sense. Thank you, William.
Thanks.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Let's see a study on that.
More studies.
More studies. More studies.
All right. So anything else?
So this will kind of get a little bit dry, but I always tell the patient, leave the exosomes on. I love them to leave them on till the evening. Like the face. Yeah. If they can leave it on for a few hours, I want it to sit on there, and then they can wash off later.
By the time the holes all close up, then I mean, you're just literally topical on that aspect of it. Yeah. Let's see. We have a few slides. Just recapping. Combination of the three. I mean, you could definitely use the combination of the three. As you can see, exosomes, silphium, threads. They're all useful in all different layers, and literally it's going to add a synergistic benefit to your patients. So ultimately, Dr. Sai had these amazing pictures that we took from him for this presentation. So from exosomes and threads. So you can kind of see improvement in texture, quality of skin, the nicer glow, as well as the lifted type of face with
and
the threads.
I just want to mention, this is a young person. This is not somebody who's 60 years old. So we stopped making collagen at 25-ish, stopped making it last at 18. So this is really a beautiful job of kind of lifting tissue that's just starting to kind of descend a little bit. So it's a really, really nice perk, so that people don't start when they're 60 and they come in with an empty gas tank. I mean, she has a quarter empty.
Right.
So you just fill up that quarter gas tank and there's less to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big key, I think. And we all talk in medicine in general about prevention. I think in our field, I mean, there's a lack of talking about prevention. You don't need to be obsessively doing this consistently, but maybe once a year when you are younger, starting to do it, talking to your patient about starting to prevent the aging process, getting a silphium with the exosomes done maybe once a year to fight off that collagen production degradation, fight off all the sun damage that they do typically when you're in your 20s. I know I did a lot of sun damage, still am doing it, but at least I'm repairing it as I'm going along. But I mean, I think you can start at kind of any age when you're talking about that. Threads kind of as well. They're starting to see a little bit of dragging. What's what's it to prevent us from just doing a little mild repositioning? By the time you're 60 years old and saying, I need this lifted up, I may be like, facelift, I'm only able to affect maybe 1.5 layers with my threads. A little bit of collagen stimulation, a little bit of the skin coming up, repositioning of the fat. But, you're only able to do 1.5 layers of repositioning, and we're not cutting like you are in the facelift. Facelift is 3 different layers: muscle, superficial fat, as well as skin can be manipulated with a facelift. So we're not going to say it takes the place, but we're going to come close if we can start at a younger age, doing a little threads, doing this tightening, skin tightening, adding a little exosomes to improve that collagen production. Definitely documented. They didn't have the studies, but one of the ones I was reading, the 600% increase in collagen production, 300% increase in elastin production from the usage of the exosome product on the skin when they did biopsies and evaluation.
Think of it as fertilizer.
Yeah, think of it as a fertilizer.
Think of it as fertilizer.
We're all about that biostimulation. So here's the next one. Dr. TJ side, another one. So from exosomes, as well as MiraQ threads to kind of just lift and open her up. All right.
Her skin integrity looks better.
I know that skin quality looks so much nicer. And here's another patient of his. Just that repositioning of that fat pad back up with the MiraQ threads, and then a little bit more of that texture, that glow off of the skin.
And it looks like she had mid-face fillers, but when you reposition that superficial fat pad back up, you almost sometimes don't need to do the fillers.
Yep.
Yeah, you're using their own tissue.
All right.
That's us. Wait, hold on. So be sure and call your rep for specials, okay? Yes. And we have people online that are helping you now. So if you have questions, ask about the specials we have. It's been fun. This has been a fun webinar, you guys. It's like we always laugh at each other, don't we? But
we have fun.
Hopefully you've learned something and you see how useful these products can be and how useful and how interesting new technology is. And it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to improve. So don't just sit in one thing. You got to keep going out there, looking at research, and keep looking for the newest and best that's coming out there, as long as it's safe and effective.
Last minute questions. Is it in the UK? I think you can reach out to Benev. I think they are in the UK, but reach out to Benev and they can give you guidance on that. And then how long did you massage the exosome? I kind of massage it until it's almost kind of dry.
Until it's kind of sticky, a little
tacky.
Yeah, it's a little tacky.
It's not liquidy. It gets a little tacky. Then it's absorbed in. Yeah. All right. But thank you, guys. We'll see you at the next webinar. Excellent. Or hopefully a live in-person thing.
I know. Thanks for joining us. We thank you so much. And any questions, call your reps and they will help you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.